want to do the White House stuff. And there's a great update on the Somalian story. Donald Trump is just pretty much done with Ilhan Omar.
Get her out. Get her out of here.
And you know what's funny about it, though? She's asked about it yesterday by Jake Tapper. And I brought it up yesterday and spent a lot of time on it, as I will today. Because we're always on the air on this show trying to find, like, commonality. Like, if you're a Democrat, you should be able to agree with Republicans that Somalians stealing $2 billion from us is bad. And I think most of you do. I'm not saying you don't. Okay? The narco-terrorists, people smuggling drugs into the country. They killed 300,000 of our kids last year. I'd like to believe everyone listening has more sympathy for our kids than they do for the narco-terrorist, which, by the way, that story's gone because ABC announced last night, per their own investigation and the newly released documents, that the strike against those drug dealers was authorized because even after the boat was hit once, they continued to try and corral the drugs and coordinate with outside support, making them a righteous target.
Wow!
So this whole week-long story of Trump did something illegal and Pete Hegseth's got to go, and this was everything I said it was. The Democrats put out a video 2 weeks ago trying to manufacture a hysteria around Donald Trump. They said, hey, guys, this guy's out of control. If you're a member of the media, you don't have to follow illegal orders if you're a member of the military. Now, to be clear, everybody in the military is trained to know that they don't have to follow illegal orders, and they have a JAG officer that's walking them through the legality of active attacks. Like this boat strike that was the big story for the last 4 days. This boat strike, according to the declassified reporting, had a JAG officer advising the actual pilots on whether they could strike this boat a second time. Would that be legal? Would that be illegal? The JAG officer said, have at it. So the drone let go of another round, and we celebrated another edition of Cinco de Mayo. But lo and behold, they were telling you that, they did something illegal. Why were they trying to play this up as an illegal act? It's because 2 weeks ago, when the Democrats made a video telling our troops they didn't have to follow Trump's orders, everybody hit back in the military going, hey, that's like a coup. That's like sedition. You're telling them to defy the commander-in-chief. What law has he broken? What illegal order has he given? And they didn't have one. Everybody got on TV and were like, well, we're just saying, if he was to follow, that whole thing. So lo and behold, between that video being made and this week, 2 National Guardsmen got shot. Okay. After Alyssa Slotkin went on TV as a former CIA worker and said, my concern with these illegal orders is the troops are going to get so nervous they start shooting random civilians. And what happened? A random civilian shot the troops. So the Democrats were trying to find some back-end cover for their lying asses and tried to gin up this latest boat strike as evidence they were right to record that video.
Not even close!
And we now know, with the full weight of the facts, that the Washington Post is probably going to get sued by Pete Hegseth for defamation. Admiral Bradley probably going to get sued for defamation because the Washington Post ran an anonymously sourced bombshell report saying they killed these innocent civilians. They were just fishermen trying to make a living. Don't you know when you're trying to go fishing in the middle of the night, so you load it up with 50 pounds of cocaine? I mean, again, the fish smell it. They start jumping out of the water a little easier. Sure, that's what was going on out there in the water.
Sell crazy someplace else. We're all stocked up here.
But the point is, they were ginning up a hysteria that got 2 National Guardsmen killed. It brings us full circle to where we are in this moment, awaiting some type of identity or update on the January 6th pipe bomber. All we can tell you right now is the FBI has raided a home in Woodbridge, Virginia. I believe they have a positive ID on a suspect, but they're delicately trying to search it because they've got to make sure whoever this dirtbag is didn't booby trap the home, assuming that's the same home he's been in since January 6th of 2020, 21 anyway. We don't know the answer. We don't have an honest answer. What's interesting about it is we were told this was a deadly white supremacist coup attempt, yet there was no effort by the Biden administration to track down this pipe bomber, which led many people on the right to believe it was some type of a deep state plant. A lot of people right now, as you're listening to this, watched January 6th in real time and was like, that's terrible. You can't storm the Capitol. What are you doing? They didn't think it was okay. They also didn't think it was worse than the George Floyd protests, which did $10 billion worth of property damage and killed 40 people. Okay, the only person who died on January 6th was an unarmed Trump supporter named Ashley Babbitt, a former veteran of the Air Force who was shot by a Capitol police officer. Every story I heard about police officers dying that day, sadly, some did, but they didn't die from injuries related to January 6th. They died in the weeks and months after January 6th. Yet they got on TV on the left-wing channels every night and told you the January 6th protesters were deadly white supremacist insurrectionists, ladies and gentlemen.
People aren't buying it, CNN, you dumb bastards.
But the same type of ginned up everything has left so many people skeptical of things we should otherwise be holding out and reserving judgment on. Okay, a lot of people believe we're about to get an ID on this January 6th pipe bomber that somehow ties him to the Democrat Party, which is really funny if it's not necessarily the Democrat Party itself, obviously, but I believe, some type of deep state operation or something like that. You know how Watergate ultimately had a loose tie to President Nixon and he took the hit for that? Well, the January 6th pipe bomber could be, if in fact this was some type of a larger internal operation by the FBI. We do know that they had 300 agents in plainclothes at the Capitol. Now, I'm not necessarily saying they're the reason we stormed the Capitol, but I'm telling you the idea that information was previously withheld from us, then it was sort of given to us, then it was taken back from us, left a lot of people with a jaundiced eye.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I don't know. But the reason I get on the air every day, every single day, and tell people to chill out, is because if you want to help the country, you want to be one of the people who moves the ball forward in this great America of ours. And to believe, guys, we have it good. Like, come on, we're putting our pets on diets. We have weight loss shows in America. You know who doesn't have weight loss shows? The rest of the world, because they're starving. Okay, we're doing pretty good. I took the subway today. I came in on a Long Island Railroad, met some big Italian Fox fan. Hey, you're the news guy, right? You're kind of funny. That's what he said. Yeah, you're like, I watch you with your little thing there. You're kind of funny, And again, it's funny because he said to me, he's like, yeah, sometimes, the language is a little crazy. I go, who did you vote for? He goes, Trump. I guess so. Shut up. What are you talking about? No one's ever used worse language in a public setting than the current sitting president of the United States. I'm not saying that to get mad at the guy or to disparage the guy. I'm saying if you ever take exception to my language as a Trump voter, you
ought to be ashamed of yourself.
And I say that as a Trump voter. But anyway, stick with me. Okay, so I take a ride in and I was listening to this woman on the subway tell me, okay, that she's putting her pet on a diet. She goes, yeah, I'm coming in. I've got sniffles up. Was it sniffles? It wasn't snuggles. It was snuggles. She said, I have snuggles coming in, and we're going to the pet psychiatrist because I'm putting snuggles on a diet. And I was like, I just wanted to take everyone's headphones off on the subway and be like, can I have your attention, please? We're all doing pretty well, no matter how bad your week is going. You live in a country where people's pets are being put on diets. Do you know what they're doing in other parts of the world? Eating their pets. Straight up. So I have that perspective. As a former cab driver, people would get in my cab every day at JFK Airport. International passengers would be like, wow, America. I can't believe I'm in America. Holy hell, America. Because that's what the rest of the world thinks. Yeah, you're going to get some sniveling French idiot, some anti-deodorant moron who made the Wi-Fi password at the Louvre. Did you know that? Biggest art heist in the history of the world. The password for the security system was the name of the museum.
That's stupid. Use your common sense.
I wish I was kidding. We covered it on my TV show. I was like, stop it. It can't be possible. But the point is, back here in America, where we're a little sharper than that, okay, there is so much garbage in our politics, and there has been so much disingenuous dealing from members of both political parties at times. But when it comes to political violence, you just watch Charlie Kirk get shot. Horrific. We saw Trump get shot over the summer. Horrific. He would have got shot a second time if they didn't catch that maniac who was laying in wait at his golf course. Okay, you've seen Israeli ambassadors get killed in D.C. You've seen a lot of really bad violence, and people on the left think it's okay because they've been taught that speech is violence. If somebody shows up and says something I don't agree with, that's violence. Ergo, I am just in responding with actual physical violence. They believe that. Like if you look at the shooting stats on Charlie Kirk, which is a horrific tragedy, do you know that only 30% of Americans believe he was shot by a liberal? 30% of Americans. And everybody goes, well, just Jimmy Kimmel came out and did it. Now, Jimmy Kimmel has 1 million viewers, guys. Jimmy Kimmel does not control the zeitgeist. There's that many more right-wing podcasters telling you that Charlie Kirk was shot by somebody other than a liberal. There's a chick online saying Turning Point shot Charlie Kirk. That is bananas. But you understand that's obviously designed to get clicks, to get engagement, to make money on the internet, to gin people up, and people respond to it. They believe it. They want to believe it. I mean, who doesn't want to believe a good story, But the point is, we got to such a fractious place in our body politic where both sides of the aisle are gaming the national attention. And they're doing so not even for political benefit, but for personal benefit. Engagement equals money in this economy. If I posted something online right now and 10 million people said, you are the Antichrist, you are the least funniest comedian, I've never been so mortified by the act of comedy as Jimmy Fallon's set. If 10 million people clicked on that video and said that same thing, do you know what I'm saying in response?
Well, we're moving on now.
Big money. Big money coming in. Huge money coming in. That's the point. It's engagement. So if you're a podcaster or a politician, how many times have you seen in the last week somebody like Mark Kelly, somebody like Jasmine Crockett, somebody like Ilhan Omar get on TV and say something inflammatory and insane, post it right in their feed and be like, let the comments begin. Okay, that's the reason Oxford Dictionary this year, the word of the year was rage bait. Rage bait is what we've become a country of. You post something super inflammatory, everybody jumps in. It's like the people who go on Instagram and they're like, pizza's not good. And 8 million people are like, what do you mean pizza's the best? I love pizza. I can't believe this guy's an idiot. The guy knows pizza's good. There's nobody alive who doesn't know pizza's good. Would you stop it? But that's how we get gamed. And when we're sitting here reacting to legitimate political violence, okay, like the January 6th pipe bomber or this horrific assassination of Charlie Kirk, the reason you have to show restraint is because we no longer live in an age where you can tell anybody if whether or not they're bargaining with you in good faith. It's not there in a lot of places, not online and certainly not with the government. So this update we're about to get on the January 6th pipe bomber, if it comes at some point during the show, buckle up, Buttercup, because it's going to turn the world absolutely, positively upside down.
So y'all need to hide your kids, hide your wife, and hide your husband because they raping everybody out here.
Lara Trump in the on-deck circle, presidential daughter-in-law. My lead-in on Fox News Saturday night, every Saturday at 10 p.m., I come on, but batting leadoff right here in front of me on the camera, where I'm used to seeing her, the great Lara Trump. Hey, girl.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm better now because I didn't know you were on camera, so I was looking at the phone register, and I was calling you names under my breath while I was addressing the audience.
See? And now here I am, right in your face like that. Yeah, I love being your lead-in. What an honor. What a great time we have back-to-back. I think Saturday nights, I don't even know, quite frankly, Jimmy, why anybody's doing anything other than tune right into Fox News. I think that's where it's at all the time.
We're single-handedly devastating the nightclub industry.
We are. We're taking them down.
Come on,
Sorry,
man.
everybody. I don't know what you want from us.
You want to know why? I do know we're doing good. I was doing stand-up in Vegas last weekend, and those are like 1,000-seat showrooms. Every show was sold out. It was bananas.
See? Look at this.
But at the Q&A, they were like, is Lara really crazy?
You said yes. Yeah. You confirmed it.
Several people did at the same time. It was like a group chant. I kid.
Yeah.
Good to see you. Couple of things. Santa is coming. That's a big deal.
How did this happen so fast? I'm so, you know what? We can't do this Thanksgiving so late anymore.
I know.
Because now it's like Christmas tomorrow and I'm not prepared as a mom. And I'll tell you something else. I prevented an elf on the shelf, Jimmy, from entering my house for 8 years now, and he's there yesterday. And so just say a prayer for me, because now that's another thing I got to deal with, the elf on the shelf. That's all.
But you know what? You're Lara Trump. I don't know that you do. I think you can call Tom Homan in on this one, and you can deport that elf right back to the North Pole.
By the way, I did not see any papers. He just showed up at my door. I don't know where this guy's from. This morning he was on my light in the kitchen. The kids looked up and they were like, "This guy flew in. Look at where he is today, Mom." So yeah, thanks everybody for the elf on the shelf stuff. Great.
That's funny.
Great stuff.
Well, there is a family. I was covering it on Jesse Waters' show the other night. There is a woman in Staten Island invented and is selling the Guido on the shelf. So it's an Italian.
Yes,
I love that guy.
I wish that guy would have shown up on my doorstep, but alas, there we are. We got the elf on the shelf.
Well, you know who else wants the Guido, though? It's the kids, because an Italian elf is not going to rat.
That's true. By the way, maybe you could slip him a little something under the table. I'm not trying to stereotype. I'm just saying, and they could work out for these kids. They could get away with all of it on the naughty list, and then Santa still comes. That's how it works.
Amen.
I don't know.
Lara Trump's here. She's letting me do the stereotyping. I'm Italian. I can do that. It's okay. We're going to be fine. Everything's going to be fine. Well, we're both parents. I was really excited about the Trump accounts. We work in media, but not everybody listening does. And I feel like this is a good head start for people, because even though it's not $1 zillion, it will add up to be good money. And more importantly, it starts a conversation around financial literacy, which we don't do enough of in this country. So that's what I'm excited about. What do you think?
Well, I agree with you. First of all, I have Tristan Thompson, the basketball player, on my show this weekend as, again, the lead in to Jimmy Fallon. And that's one of his big things, too, because he says, listen, so many of these guys, whether it's now in college or professional sports, come into all of this money all of a sudden, and literally no one has ever taught them anything about it, how to invest it, what to do with it, so that it's, a long-term thing for them. And a lot of these people spend all the money up front, they go bankrupt, it's all done. He wants to have a conversation about that, especially as it relates to athletes. But I love that this president, Jimmy, has talked for a long time about bringing back the American dream. And this is one of the ways he sees it happening. This is about the future generations. Look, if you invest the way that it's set up and you kind of max out these accounts, and obviously you don't touch it till adulthood, we're talking about $1 to $2 million per child, potentially in, this investment for them whenever they reach adulthood. That is such a great head start. And that's how this president wants to bring back the American dream. Another part of this that I think is really cool is we know we have a deficit in terms of birth rates here in America. We need more babies. Don't talk to my husband about this. We have 2 kids. He says we only replaced ourselves. We should have another one. I can't do it, Jimmy. I'm tapped out at 2. So don't even get Eric Trump involved in this combo. But maybe this is a good way to start incentivizing families to say, listen, we shouldn't look at having kids as a burden, which I feel like for years now, it's kind of been sold that way. Yeah. We should look at them as a positive, and maybe this is a whole new conversation about that.
That's a great point, Lara Trump. And I think that's specifically a liberal thing, is that they've told you having kids gets in the way of your own empowering journey. But the truth is, and you know this as a parent, having a kid actually makes you so much more efficient at the personal things you want to do, because you have less time to do them. And more importantly, you now have a compass when it comes to decision making, because your decisions affect theirs. So even if it's a simple decision, like I might stay out till 4 a.m. Well, if they're waking up at 6 to get fed, you might not stay out till 4 a.m.
Exactly. No, you're so right. It adds a different viewpoint to every single thing that you do. And I was actually one of those people early on who kind of bought into that ideology that it was either have a career and be successful in that space or have a family. Yep. And I will give my husband credit for this. He early on was like, listen, we got to start working on having some kids. And thank God he did, because nothing has been more important in my entire life, no matter what I do in the future, no matter what I've done in the past, than being a mom, being a parent. And it really is the greatest thing you can possibly do in the world. So I want to encourage everybody, the Charlie Kirk idea of, more babies is good. Donald Trump likes more babies. We know that. So I'm advocating for that all the way for everybody.
Yes. And I'll tell you why else it's good news, folks, because those 9 months of sobriety are really helpful if your wife drinks like Lara Trump. You know what I mean?
No natty lights during that 9 months. It was tough for me.
That's why Eric wants to have another kid. He actually doesn't even want to keep it. He wants to give it up for adoption. He just wants to slow you down for 9 months.
It's hard to slow down you train on this kind of speed. You know what I mean? It's hard.
I love that.
You're going fast.
All right, give me one more since we got you here, Lara Trump. They were blowing up drug boats. I thought it was amazing. They framed this the wrong way on the left, okay? If we're forced to make a choice between the guy on the boat or the kids getting poisoned by the drugs, and you have to look at it that way. And it's a sad reality of the situation is that we're not having pleasant conversations. Even as a parent, there's no part of me that looks at those drug boat videos and feels bad.
Zero. I have zero remorse for any of those people. You know why, Jimmy? They made that decision to be part of a transnational criminal organization, which are now labeled as terrorist organizations via this president and this administration, a drug cartel, however you want to label these things. It's bad all the way around. And whenever you look at the fact that 100,000 Americans, mostly young Americans, have been on average every year losing their life to these illicit drugs, to fentanyl overdoses, etc. I don't know. Where's the downside to this? We get rid of bad guys. We keep these drugs from coming into our country, and we send a very clear message, not just to the drug cartels. Maybe people don't talk about this enough. Everybody in the world is watching this. So anybody who thinks they're going to get cute with the United States of America is going to think twice about it after seeing how serious this president is, how serious our Secretary of War is, and how we're protecting our people finally for the first time in a long time and putting America first. They're saying we're not going to try it.
Yeah, I love that whole aspect of it. The twisted sister, we're not going to take it aspects to foreign policy is good. But are you concerned, as am I, about all the cocaine in the ocean? We've got a lot of horny fish out there.
They don't need any more. That may be the breeding problem. Like in the country, maybe we need more breeding. We could do with less, I guess, in the ocean. I don't know what's going on down there.
You know, they used to say there's plenty of fish in the sea. Now they're saying there's too many fish in the sea. It's single-handedly changing the lexicon, Lara Trump.
Let me tell you something. You go down deep enough, that is a party that maybe we want to suggest on Saturday nights people get involved with, that way down deep there. I don't know.
Disney's making a Pixar film called Grinding Nemo. Let's go. Good night, everybody. Lara.
And that's it.
There it is.
You're done after that.
You're the greatest. I'll see you on TV.
I'll see you there, my friend.
Rock
see you
and
soon.
Roll. You're the best. The great Lara Trump. There she goes. There it is, Fox Across America with Jimmy Fallon. If you watch it on Fox Nation, you'll notice only one of us has headphones on because the other one's a diva. She just got her TV hair done. She actually graciously did offer to put them on. I told her not to, so I'm just putting her on the spot. Tudor Dixon's in the house, and the crowd goes wild. Hey, girl.
Hey, that's because last time I couldn't get, I'm like not smart enough to put these on.
No, Tudor had a moment the last time we were here. And what was so much better about it is she sat down, put the headphones on, took them off to hear something I said, and then we came back from break and couldn't put them on again.
That's right. Yeah. And I've already walked out of the bathroom at a restaurant with toilet paper on my shoe today, so it's just
Tudor's on fire.
Yes, it could have happened.
You're on fire. Well, it's good to see you on a day you're riding as high as you are.
I know.
Tudor Dixon.
You're blessed.
Well, you're in New York. It's nice. It's cold out, which is good because you can't smell the city. That's a perk, right?
That's so funny because it's warm to us.
Oh, that's true. You're from Michigan.
We had 18 inches of snow this week. It was lovely.
You got 18 inches of snow.
Yes.
That is bananas to me.
I know. It's like a little gift.
But you guys just deal with it, right?
Love it.
Like,
yes.
You're going to laugh. Like I was doing a stand-up gig. It was like last winter in like Idaho Falls. And I was driving up from Salt Lake City. They're like, there's like 4 feet of snow on the ground. I'm like, I guess the show's canceled. They're like, dude, it's going to be packed. They're like, if we didn't go out when it snowed, we would all die in our houses.
Right.
But I didn't know that being from here because in the city, you don't accumulate snow because of the subway.
Oh,
everything melts.
We have a lot of snow.
Yeah,
and we've made a tunnel. We have a whole house in the front yard. It's great.
Oh, look at Tudor Dixon just building snowmen right here on the radio. That's why she doesn't have the headphones on. She gave the earmuffs to Frosty.
I just heard this horrible story about Frosty.
Oh, let's go.
He had 3 secret families.
Oh, the guy who voiced Frosty,
Yes.
Jackie Vernon?
Yes.
I love this story so much.
And they were all the kids were named the same name, which is really smart because if you have secret families,
Yes.
then it's not just that you don't forget it. It's like if one secret wife is like, Ralphie has a play on Friday, then if you say that to the other secret wife, she's like, Ralphie doesn't have a play. And you're like, right, no.
Tudor Dixon in studio showing men how to cheat. If you're just joining us. Buy them all the same perfume so they don't smell the other. I get it. Yeah, no, I've driven Italian men in my taxi. I had a guy in my cab back in the day who gave me like his blueprint for doing things. It was pretty fascinating. He's like, oh, no, let me tell you something, kid. He's like, you cheat on your lunch break because then it's like you don't have to make up a story about after work. I'm like, bro, I'm a cab driver. I don't have a lunch break. I'm like, this is my lunch break, buddy. And I don't know what you know about cab driving, but women aren't exactly climbing through the partition to get their hands on me.
High society.
Something
affairs.
about the smell of Taliban and failure. The women can't get enough of. They're like, is that guy single up there? So anyway, Tudor, I believe we had other things to get to, but
Yes,
we brought up the driving experience just the same. Something happened at the White House yesterday. I actually love this. You're from Michigan, where a lot of these cars are manufactured. It sounds like we're slashing some regulations, which is going to make the fuel standards change. A little bit easier for the manufacturer, a little cheaper for the car buyer. This is a win, no?
This is a huge win, and car prices are supposedly going down. This is what I heard this morning, which I think is amazing because coming from Michigan, we have said for a long time that all of these stupid mandates, the EV mandates, all of that was destroying our industry. It's coming back. Thank you, Trump. Thank you, President Trump.
Hey, man, look at Tudor Dixon shouting out the Trump man, but I agree with you because when you get rid of the EV mandate, it allows the manufacturer to build what the market wants.
Ugh, what a shock.
And this is, I know, right? But this is what people don't get about that. I know you do. Is that when those EV mandates get passed and the manufacturer builds a gazillion electric cars and they don't sell, it actually forces them to raise the price on the vehicles that do. So if you're not buying an EV, you're still kind of paying for one under that mandate.
Of course, and you're also paying for all this research and development that's going in because they are putting in, those companies were putting billions of dollars into researching how to make a vehicle that nobody wanted to buy. So yes, of course, all of the prices were going up and it was outrageous and people were driving old cars and people were, I mean, in Michigan, we just talked about the snow. Can you imagine me in an EV? Like, it would be, the battery would die.
Yeah.
I would never get anywhere.
That's frozen. That's why Frosty had to have 3 families. He needed to make sure one of them drove a working car. If the first family wasn't driving an electric car, he wouldn't have needed to find the second family. So that's what happened. You can thank Joe Biden for Frosty's.
Do you think he just pretended to melt when he decided to leave one family?
I love it. So if you guys didn't read this story, Jackie Vernon, who was the voice of Frosty the Snowman,
Yes.
apparently, I guess he died, and we found out that he had 3 families.
Yes.
That's a cop thing too. Okay, a lot of cops have multiple families back in the day.
What?
Italian cops, 2 family guys. This is like famous.
You know way too much about
I
this.
know everything. So this used to be a constant story on here because we always just die laughing about it. And I would always like joke with Jenny and Lincoln like I have to go because I got to see my other family.
Yeah,
It's like a
the other
for real.
Lincoln?
Yeah, it's like a running thing. I didn't think ahead though to name them the same name, so I have to have a better memory. But the point is, like, what cops would do is, if you specifically work a police job, okay, the end around is, you got to go to work. So it's like Christmas Day comes and you tell the one family, like, I'm working a day shift, so I'm not going to be around. We'll do Christmas at night. But you go hang out with the other family.
That is
and then you're like, but I'm
terrible.
not going to be around for dinner because I'm working a 4 to 12. And you go work a 4 to 12. Now you might be off Christmas Day and you're just hanging out with both
They
families.
never show this on Blue Bloods.
They say, Blue Bloods ended in a weird way. Tom Selleck took out a reverse mortgage on the precinct and it got foreclosed on. I'm kidding. Where does he come up with him, you guys? The man, he's so quick.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
That
Come
is
on.
quick, yes.
Tudor Dixon's here. We're having an above average conversation. That's what we're doing. So you get rid of the fuel standards. I like that. We're both parents. The big thing this week, I've talked about this so much. The fact that they're going to start investment accounts for little kids is the greatest thing in the world. You can talk to me about the money, but the bigger thing is just financial literacy. We don't teach financial literacy.
Right.
That should be mandatory in every state.
But I think that was something that, as I heard them coming out and talking about this week, I was thinking, these exactly are conversations that young parents don't think about. And they're explaining it in a way where you have to think, even if this isn't my story that I get this $1,000, I should do this for each one of my kids.
Yeah.
And they should be starting to save. And we've started to talk to our kids about this. So we actually have each one of our kids have made little investments so they understand how that works and they can see it either gaining or losing. And not that I want them to be day traders, but I want them to know that money has value and they can be protective of their own money and grow it.
Amen. We're talking to the great Tudor Dixon. We're writing a self-help book here, one topic at a time. Money management. That's why I had Lincoln opened for me in Vegas this weekend. Brought me on stage both shows.
Seriously?
Yeah, and we walked around the blackjack
But he looks
pit.
like he's 30 years old and he's 16.
I know, he's a little kid. But we walked around the casino, and I showed him how people are playing cards and betting the wrong way and stuff like that. And for real, I taught him like real financial literacy. These are the things that matter.
This is not how you bet. This is how you bet.
Absolutely. Always split aces and eights. I mean, if you're playing blackjack anywhere in America tonight, you're always supposed to assume that the dealer has a 10 underneath.
Well, you should.
You know the card you can't see?
Is he into sports?
Yeah, of course.
What does he play sports?
Yeah, he plays football, beer pong.
So then he could not only get money for going to college, but people could bet on him, and he could.
That's the real money.
That's the.
This
way
is
to
a
do it.
slippery slope. This is like you're a block away from telling someone to start an OnlyFans for their daughter. I don't know what happened.
I don't like the bet. I don't like the money for college kids in sports. I'm not a fan.
Oh, the sport has completely been blown to bits.
It's destroying
with the transfer portals and the coaching and the Lane Kiffins and the everything else. It's so funny though. This Lane Kiffin story. You don't even have to follow sports to know this. The dude has coached 8 teams in like the last 10 years, maybe 15, but he's been on a lot of teams. So he was coaching Ole Miss. They made it to the playoff this year. They haven't had a winning season like this since 1963. It's a big deal for the program, but he just left for LSU instead of, coaching the team in the playoffs. You don't need to be a sports fan to know this. His bone of contention was they wouldn't let him stick around and coach the playoffs before leaving. Meaning I asked to coach the team even though I'm leaving for the other rival school. And they were like, no, you can't do that.
Yeah.
Which is so it made a lot of headway and a lot of people reacted to that. But he is essentially, you don't have to follow sports to know this. He is the Jennifer Lopez of football coaches. You know, J-Lo is always getting engaged. It's just always a new guy. That's Lane Kiffin. He's going to take back Ben Affleck in a few weeks.
But this is what we're seeing across the college sports.
It's the game.
The amount of money that these coaches and the kids are getting. I mean, I'm sitting watching a UK game and I hear my brother-in-law's like, oh yeah, this guy just got caught on social media like making it rain, even though he's third string because he's getting all this money. I'm like, he's 18.
Yeah.
Of course he's making it rain with money because he doesn't know. This is insane.
Yeah, you have no idea, and it's too much stimulation. It's funny. Do you know, I used to not make fun of Justin Bieber back in the day when he was like imploding. Like he had like peed in a mop bucket or something at a restaurant. And I was like, dude, if you gave anyone $100 million when they were 16, we would have all been dead within a half hour.
Right. This is such a bad idea, but I guess we're just going to watch it go crazy and all these kids probably do terrible things.
Who knows? But I think that's the reality of college football is that in a weird way it lost that innocence. And now it's become so much more transient. That it's funny because in the NFL, if you buy a jersey, or Major League Baseball, you buy a jersey and then the guy gets traded, you're like, damn it, because the jersey doesn't matter anymore. That's a college thing now. That used to never be a college thing.
I know, but that ruins it. Ruins it because it's not about education. And all of a sudden, all these kids, they're getting traded, they're moving. There's no loyalty. It's 4 years. Can you not just stay?
Can't stay for 4 years. I mean, seriously, how much better is the beer? What are we? You're a college kid. What are we talking about?
When I was at UK, those kids that played basketball, they were treated so well. Why would you? And you didn't need to be paid. They were treated so well. I guess.
Yeah. Like at UK, I mean, you didn't even have to. They had somebody even take the SATs for you.
Now you don't have to take SATs anyway.
Really well. You don't even have to take them now. Now it's forget it. So that's the last thing. I'm sitting here with Lincoln right now. He's a senior in high school. Okay, he's got to take his road test, get a car, blah, blah, blah. We talk about investing and everything, all the stuff that matters. And I'm talking about college. And this is a real hard decision for me because he wants to get into broadcasting and he likes performing and all that stuff. But I didn't go to college for that. So I don't know if it's necessary for him to have $200,000 or $100,000 worth of debt, but I do think it's necessary to have him involved in something every day. Because if you're not tethered to something, you just wind up hanging out with the other kids in town doing nothing. And the next thing you know, you're selling whippets behind the bowling alley.
Well, doesn't Turning Point tell you to go for your MRS degree? Maybe he should just go for his MR degree.
Okay.
Get a Mr. degree.
Get a Mr. degree.
Find his wife there.
Yo. If he could like marry a couple
A
of
hot
bucks.
broadcaster? He's in broadcasting.
What are we talking about here, Lincoln? Come on, man. I know, because he always comes on this show and he's like, I'm going to steal your show. I'm like, I would love it if you stole my show.
Oh, isn't
But
that so sweet though? That's exactly how a dad feels.
Yeah, I would
it.
love that. I would just go be a stage dad. I'd have a pill addiction. I'd weigh like 300 pounds. It's like I dress
why did
like
it go someplace dark?
because that's
This
where it would
was
go.
So sweet.
You have no idea. Like I have recalibrated a broken vessel. Like I was like a 5-night-a-week casino gambler doing comedy, and like I started a family, and I was one of the people who benefited from it because it was like, well, if you're in the casino till 8 a.m. and you owe a bookie $60,000, it kind of makes their lives harder. And that was enough to kind of make me like go straight. I didn't like have to go to rehab or anything, but I've been nuts my whole life. And now I became like a functioning member of society, but I'm too high function. You dig? That takes a lot of discipline to do this. I don't find it hard at all because there's a gravity to doing it that makes it easy. But what I'm saying is it's like the call of the wild. If you let the cat out of the house, it's going to kill the first bird it sees. You know what I'm saying? So if he took over the show, I go from dressing like Fat Elvis to being him. That's the point. I not only walk around in rhinestone jackets, but now I can forget the lyrics to the songs and hang out in the backyard.
Why can't it be like Steve Ducey? And you,
because we always say this is why we are the white trash Duceys. So that's who we are. The Duceys are White House, we are White Castle. Okay, we're not trying to pretend. That's the point. We're not here claiming some status of enlightenment. We're here giving you a real human take on mass media. This is all we have.
But that has to continue. Like literally, there is no comedy. I mean, I saw what happened on Colbert with Harry.
God, with Harry.
I'm like, this is not comedy. This isn't funny. Comedy is dead. That's why we need the white trash Duceys.
We need the white trash Duceys. Long live my new agent. This is the greatest stuff in the world, Tudor Dixon.